Hey there! Today, we're going to talk about research that dispels a myth about gender roles. Specifically, we're going to talk about women hunters. Now, let's do a quick introduction so that we are all on the same page here. You are probably all familiar with gender roles. Things like men are hunters and women are gatherers, or men work outside of the home and have protective personalities, whereas women work inside the home taking care of children and keeping house. Now, we all have biases, and some of these biases about the division of labor between the sexes actually reinforce these types of gender roles. And unfortunately, even scientists have biases. So, for example, when anthropologists discovered graves of women, they sometimes also found hunting tools. But because of their biases about gender roles, they dismissed the fact that there were hunting tools in these graves of women because they didn't believe that women would be hunting. Or they said that maybe it only happened in the past. So our researchers wanted to know, do women in indigenous societies around the world hunt now? And we mean in the past 100 years or so. So, how did they go about answering this question? Let's talk a little bit about the methods. First of all, the researchers used multiple databases to find out information about foraging societies. Oops. And this is about contemporary or currently existing foraging societies. And these are societies that are nomadic. They hunt and gather to collect the materials that they need to survive. And once they found information in these databases about these contemporary foraging societies, the researchers asked a bunch of questions. So they looked at how many, a little plus there, how many mentioned the gender of who was hunting? And out of those, how many said that women hunt? And out of those, how many had women hunt on purpose? Then they asked, of those women who were intentionally hunting, what size animals did they hunt? Who did they hunt with? And what kind of tools did they hunt with? So when they found all of this information in their databases, they put it all together into some nice results. So first of all, for these foraging societies that mentioned the gender of the hunters, whether they were men or women, they found 63 contemporary foraging societies that had information about gender hunting. Out of those 63, they found that 50 of them had women hunting, and that's about 79%. Out of those 50 societies that had women hunt, 36 of them hunted on purpose. And of those who intentionally hunted, What size animals did they hunt? Well, all sizes. But they actually hunted 30% large animals. Who did they hunt with? Well, lots of people and dogs. So they hunted with dogs, they hunted with others, either men or women, and they hunted with children. That is not how you spell children. Let me try that again. And what kind of tools did they hunt with? Well, they hunted with a variety of tools. So what does this all mean? Let us discuss for a little bit. First of all, this research showed that women do hunt regularly in these contemporary foraging societies of indigenous cultures. The women hunt with a wide variety of tools, much more than men, a wider variety. They're also more flexible with who they hunt with. And this is especially important when we think about childcare, because these women are not restricted by childcare. They don't have to stay home and watch the kids. They just take them hunting, which is pretty awesome. So what does this mean kind of in the larger scale? Let's get some conclusions. Well, one thing is that we need to be aware of our biases. And only if we're aware of our biases can we make a more inclusive framework to view research and to view society and culture as a whole. But this isn't just an issue with people and culture, it's also an issue when we do animal studies, that we bring our biases into those as well. And we have a really great podcast with Jay Falk about his research on gender roles in hummingbirds. And he talks a lot about how we can make sure that these biases that we bring into animal research don't impact what we find in that research. So I think the big takeaway message is that we all need to approach things with an open mind. And only then are we going to be able to have a more inclusive framework to look at everything in the world around us. Hope you learned something today. Have a great one.